Hello everyone, here we want to talk about the MCDM Excel file, which stands for Multi-Criteria Decision Making Excel. If you open this Excel file for first time, you may see a yellow ribbon that asks you to enable the content of the macros because this Excel file is developed based on the VBA programming and we have a script in the macros. So please enable the content. After that, you are free to use this Excel file. In this Excel file, you will see two sheets. One is the decision matrix and the second one is the solution. The solution is based on the fourth algorithms. So for example, you have an MCDM problem, you have some criteria and you have some alternatives. You want to see which of these alternatives is best to be chosen based on these criteria. Here we have two types of criteria. One is the negative one and the second one is the positive one. We can choose which type of criteria is. The negative one means that if I score my alternative, the less score is better. For example, here when we have a number 3, a score to number 3 for alternative 1 based on the criteria 1, and we have 1.2 for score for alternative 2, it means that alternative 2 is better than alternative A1. And the positive is inverse of that. It means that if I have more score, then it's better alternative based on this criteria. For example, here A2 has a score 7, which means that A2 is better than A1 based on the criteria 2 because the A1 has a score 5. After we define our criteria matrix and after we define the criteria weight, which the summation of the weights should be 1, and so we need to enter the numbers between 0 and 1, and the summation of all the criteria should be 1, should not be less or more than 1. If we have more than 1, we may have some errors when we use this Excel file. And also in the decision matrix, we need to define each of alternatives in the rows. For example, alternative 1, 2, 3, 4, or we can have alternative 5, and each criteria should be in the columns. So for example, criteria 1 to 6, we may have criteria 7 as well. And after that, we need to enter the scores of each alternative based on each criteria. So for example, based on the criteria 1, we need to define this is the score of alternative A1 is 3, A2 is 1.2, and so on. And we need to define that for A5 as well. You need to remember that if you define a criteria, you do not want to have a one column empty, because you may get some errors in our Excel, because some of our algorithms will have divided by 0, and divided by 0 is not defined because it's get us infinite number. So for example, if you have 0 for all of these criteria 7 for all the alternatives, you need to remove this criteria because basically it's not meaningful. And also if we do not have any numbers for the alternative 5, then we need to remove that, or if we have 0 for all of them. So remember that too. And after you define your criteria and as well as your alternative scores, your decision matrix, you can use one of these algorithms. For example, the VIKOR method. If you press on this button, it asks you, please give us the weight for a VIKOR strategic weight. And after that, you will see the done message, and you can see your results here and say that the rank of A1 alternative is rank 1. So the A1 is the best one based on the VIKOR algorithm. And you can say you can use SAW, for example, by pressing on SAW, and you will have the answers, as well as ELECTRE and the TOPSIS, so you can use these for algorithms for MCDM. Thanks for watching this video and goodbye.